As you know that the reverse-based chromatography is widely used for quantification of pharmaceutical active ingredients. So in today's video, we are going to talk about how the physicochemical properties of the molecule have the impacts onto its retention behavior. And I'm going to explain you with the help of the combination drug product, which is metformin hydrochloride and the glyclazide. So let us begin with the presentation now. How this retention behavior of metformin and glyclazide gets manipulated into the reverse phase liquid chromatography. So let us understand the chemical structure of the metformin and the glyclazide. So by looking at the chemical structure, you can easily understand that the metformin is the basic in nature, right? Because it has the amine functional groups, and it is always going to be a highly polar molecules, right? Because of the double bond ion pair present onto the nitrogen. But when you look at the glycoside now, you can understand that now there are two different ends present into the glycoside. One is aromatic end, which is going to be hydrophilic in the nature, and another one is azo end, which is going to be a hydrophobic in the nature, or it is a non-polar in the nature as compared to the aromatic end. So I'm going to explain you the retention of these two important molecules with the help of this reference article, that is development and validation of RP-HPLC method for simultaneous estimation of metformin, pioglitazone and glyclazide from bulk and tablet dosage form. I will not talk about the pioglitazone part, but I will certainly talk about the metformin and the glyclazide. So what are the physicochemical characteristics of the metformin and the glyclazide? And here it is for your ready reference. So both of these molecules are ionic in the nature. So they can undergo ionization. So this is the very first hand information we got now. Now as far as its basicity and acidity is concerned, the metformin part is basic in nature, whereas glyclazide is weakly acidic in the nature. Now, what are the pK values of these two molecules? Metformin has its pK value equal to 12.3, and glyclazide is having 5.8 as a pKa value. See, the importance of pKa is to understand, what will be the percent ionization in the given pH value. So now in this example, this article talks about usage of C18 column. Then the pH of the mobile phase is 4.2. The composition of the mobile phase is buffer ACN 45 and 55. Then when it comes to the percent ionization now, right? You need to understand what is the calculation formula to evaluate the percent ionization. So for weak basic molecule, or for basic molecule, now here is the calculation formula near my cursor. Percent ionization for weak base equal to 10 raised to pK minus pH divided by 10 raised to pK minus pH plus 1 into 100. So you can easily calculate the percentage of the metformin, right, at pH equal to 4.2, because we know that the the pK of metformin is 12.3. So if you substitute this value in this calculation formula, you will realize that at pH 4.2, metformin will be almost 100% ionized, right? Now the second compound is the glyclazide. So what is going to be the percent ionization for the glyclazide? See, the glyclazide is not the basic in nature now. It is weak acid. So now here is the calculation formula for calculate the percent ionization for weak acidic compound. That is 10 raised to pH minus pKa divided by 10 raised to pH minus pKa plus 1 into 100. So substitute the values of the pH and the pKa of the glyclazide, and you will come to know that the glyclazide will only have 2.5% as a ionized form, and almost 97.5% of the glyclazide will be into a non-ionic form at the pH of the mobile phase 4.2. Now what the inference you can draw from this information? Now let us understand how the retention of any compound gets governed onto the reverse phase column. See, the reverse phase stationary phase is what? It's a non-polar stationary phase, like C18 in the given example. So there is a very important rule which is called as the like attracts like. So the non-polar stationary phase is going to attract non-polar compounds. The non-polar stationary phase is going to attract non-polar compounds, and hence the non-polar compound is going to get retained for longer time onto the stationary phase. And same is the case for the polar compounds. I mean, the polar compounds will not get retained, they will not get attracted towards the non-polar stationary phase, because non-polar stationary phase will only attract non-polar compounds, and hence the polar compounds will not have much interaction with the non-polar stationary phase, and because of the lesser interaction, the polar compounds will elute very early. So let us understand and connect this percent ionization with the polar form. We all know that the ionization also determines the polarity. So higher is the ionization, higher will be the polarity of the compound. So in this case, right, the metformin is 100% ionized. So the metformin is into its highly polar form, whereas the glycoside is only 2.5% ionized, and we can say that the glycoside is into a highly non-polar form. So what is going to happen onto the retention of these two compounds onto the reverse phase chromatography? We can expect that the metformin being a polar form compound will elute first and then followed by the glycoside, and then will followed by the glycoside retention. So as per as this article is concerned, you will find that the metformin has got retention time of 2.5 minutes, and the glycoside has get eluted at 6.9 minutes. So now does that mean that if I have the metformin into completely non-ionic form and the glycoside into completely ionic form, they will reverse their order of retention time? It will not, right? Because you need to also understand, what is the chemical structure of these two compounds, and you will find that the metformin is the polar in the nature as compared to the glycoside. So predominantly, in case of reverse phase chromatography, you will have the faster elution for the metformin as compared to the glycoside. But this pKa and the pH is going to help you in understanding how you can probably, prolong the retention time or reduce the retention time just by changing the pH of the mobile phase. I hope you get it clear. I would like to also walk you through another very interesting article, which has studied the change in retention time of metformin and glycoside against the various pH. And here is the slide. So this article is about the simultaneous determination of metformin, nataglinide, and glycoside in pharmaceutical preparation using micellar liquid chromatography. So let us look at this particular graph wherein the pH is plotted against x-axis and the retention factor or retention time is plotted against the y-axis. Now the first top curve is about the glycoside and the bottom curve is about the metformin retention. So the pH has been studied from around pH 5 to pH 6, and this is the retention of metformin. This is the retention of metformin. Okay, so what you can see from this curve that there is no much fluctuations, variation in the retention of metformin is observed when the pH is changed from 5 to 6, because there is no much change into the percent ionization of the metformin, right? And then there is no change into the polarity of the metformin as such, either at pH 5 and pH 6, it remains with the same polarity, and hence there is no much change into the retention of metformin is observed. But now let us understand, what is going to be the percent ionization change for the glycoside when the pH is getting changed from 5 to 6. So let me show you the percentage of the ionization for the glycoside at pH equal to 5. Right? It will be 13.7%, or roughly it is 14% ionized. and rest another part, like around 76% will be a non-ionized form. And that is the reason for, let us say, having a retention time of around close to a 3.8 or 3.9. You can see on the graph over here. But when the pH is getting changed, and at the pH equal to 6, the glycosides percent ionization will come to 61.3%. So almost 60% of the glycoside is into now ionic form. So what has happened to the glycoside? The percent ionization has drastically changed from 14% to almost 60%. Now with this transition, whether the molecule has become more polar or non-polar, if the pH is getting changed from 5 to 6, of course it has become more polar, right? From 14% or 13.7% ionization to almost now 61.3% ionization, the molecule has gone to undergone a polarity. It has increased its polarity. And if the molecule becomes polar now, the rule of like attracts like works in the same way here also. At the pH 5, you will have the non-polar version of the glycoside, and it gets retained for the longer time, like like retention time of around 4 minutes. But the moment when the pH gets shifts to towards the 6, right? Now the glycoside has become more polar. It has become more polar. And if the compound becomes more polar, it will not have much interaction onto the stationary phase. It will not retain for the longer time onto the stationary phase. So the retention has got reduced for the glycoside when the pH has become 6. It has come around below 3. It is around 2.5 minutes, right? So this experiment will also help us in understanding, how one can easily manipulate the retention time of compound just with the help of change in the pH. So I hope you must have got an overview of, how to use the how to use pK values during the method development by using a reverse phase chromatography, and what is the role of pH in governing the retention time of the ionized compound. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will meet you soon with such kind of very useful and practicable videos. Till then, take care and bye bye. See you soon.